Hello, children. The name of today's story is The Snow Queen. Hope you'll enjoy this story. Once there was a wicked magician who enjoyed making mischief. His worst ever bit of mischief was to make a magical mirror. This mirror was like no other, for it made everything reflected in it appear ugly. Beautiful fields looked like marshy swamps, and the prettiest people looked like old hags. The magician was so proud of his mirror that he flew with it round the world causing trouble. One day when he was flying high above the earth, he laughed so much over the misery his mirror caused that the mirror slipped from his hands and fell to the earth to splinter into 1,000,000 pieces. The splinters flew all over the place. Some stuck in people's heart and made them cold and hard. Other tiny specks blew into people's eyes and made everything they saw appear twisted and ugly. The largest piece of all fell on the Snow Queen, who ruled the icy lands of the north. From that moment on, she became the coldest and meanest woman who ever lived. Meanwhile, far away from the Snow Queen's chilly home lived a little boy and a little girl called Kay and Gerda. Kay and Gerda were the best of friends and loved each other dearly. Every day they played together, even in the winter when the Snow Queen blew her icy breath across the land. One winter's day, Kay and Gerda were making a snowman in the village square when Kay let out a cry. "Ah! Something flew in my eye!" he cried. "And I felt a pain in my heart." Alas! Splinters from the magical mirror had fallen on Kay. "Can I do anything?" asked Gerda. "Get lost!" shouted Kay before kicking over the snowman. When Gerda started to cry, Kay laughed. Then he grabbed his little sledge and sped away. Kay played alone in the snow until a big sleigh stopped nearby. Kay could not see who was driving the sleigh, but he did not care. He fastened his sledge to the back of the sleigh, so when it pulled away, it took him with it. On and on went the sleigh, dragging Kay behind it, until it reached an icy palace. Once there, the driver of the sleigh got down and called to Kay in an icy voice. "Come here, Kay, you must be freezing." It was the Snow Queen. Kay wasn't at all afraid. He wasn't even scared when the Snow Queen bent down and gave him an icy kiss on the cheek. The kiss cast a spell over Kay. It made him forget all about Gerda and think that Snow Queen was the most perfect person he had ever seen. But, worst of all, it froze his heart. Back at home, Gerda had searched high and low for Kay. Everyone in the village had joined in, but Kay was nowhere to be found. "Perhaps he has fallen in the river," an old man suggested. Gerda took her best red shoes and threw them into the river, begging the river to give back Kay in return. But the river had not seen Kay, and the red shoes were swept back. "How will I find him?" wept Gerda. As if in answer, a little boat appeared at the river bank. Gerda climbed aboard the boat and was swept down the stream. On and on she went, through lands and kingdoms she'd never even known existed. At last the boat came to a halt in a forest. "Where am I?" Gerda asked a passing reindeer. "Lapland," replied the reindeer. Have you seen a little boy with blonde hair? Asked Gerda. I think such a boy is living with the Snow Queen in the north, said the reindeer. Jump on my back and I'll help you in your search. The reindeer galloped day and night until they reached the Snow Queen's palace. As Gerda stood outside the icy walls, she shivered with fear. But she knew that it was up to her to rescue Kay. Inside the palace, Kay was cold and alone. The Snow Queen was away, and all Kay had for entertainment were some chips of ice. The Snow Queen had told him that he could go home if he could form them into the word free. But however hard Kay tried, he could not do it. When Gerda saw her beloved friend, she rushed to his side. She held him in her arms and wept as she realized that he did not even recognize her. Her tears were so pure and full of love that when they fell on Kay's chest, they melted his frozen heart. Kay began to cry too. As he cried, the splinter of glass was washed from his eye, and when he looked down at the chips of ice, they had arranged themselves into the word free. Kay hugged Gerda with joy. You are the best friend a boy could wish for, he smiled. Their tears of sorrow were quickly replaced with tears of joy. Come on, let's go home, laughed Gerda. And after that, Kay and Gerda never fell out again. Hope you've enjoyed this story, children. Good night and sweet dreams.